Hi there, I thought I would share my January sketchbook with you because, I would like to get down to some embroidery designing and to design well, it is actually a good thing to get to grips with some art techniques and to get into the habit of keeping up a sketchbook. These were the first sketches that I made. They were outside. It was not even January. It was very, very cold. And as you can see, the details are missing. Even when you're coloring this behind all of that, it's not the same as coloring at home. So I had to wait a little until the weather got better, and in the meantime I tried to get to grips with the color theory a little, and also try to get to grips with the different media that I could use to mix these colors. And not all of them are equally well equipped for this task. You can see those studies here. They should blend with one another and give a third color. Sometimes you just struggle. You have to have some patience, for example, with watercolors here, or you have to kind of mix with water or with smudging, with different media like charcoal, like pencil, watercolor, all of this in black and white. And here with those pastel pencils, I think I got what I wanted, and all those colors are really from those other derived. And if you combine all three primary colors together, then you get this sort of gray. And yeah, you can start designing and doing stuff with your sketchbook. Not only with pastels, of course, but also with inks. And this was about the first picture that I thought I could maybe share. These are the fruits of the roses. I don't quite know how you call them in English. In German, we call them Hagebutte, which is a cute little word that you've learned now. Ha! Primary colors again, just for a little bit contrast. And then here I made a little study of the dried leaves on the bushes and tried to transform that into a line drawing and that into something that could be done by machine. And yeah, that was my first machine embroidery at all. And I've also tried something with fabric colors, watercolors and solid colors, and the solid colors mix better, I think. Watercolors are a little bit uncontrollable. Then some crows that I saw, and I luckily made a picture of them before they flew away and could retrace those. Some fashion ideas. And here we have dry grass on the ground that I discovered, and I just loved those textures and structures, and I had to put that down. And here we have something interesting. That was a tree in watercolor and wax before the watercolor. That gives me the structure, and I tried to transform that into fabric with fabric color and machine embroidery again. That did not work so well, so I tried tulle embroidery by hand, something that I have not delved into that much yet, but I plan to. And again, pastel chalk. I think I love this medium, and might try to get this into embroidery. Again, you can experiment the way that you want. This is ivy with ink and some watercolor. Some thoughts about art and why everybody is copying everybody else. And here we have the thorns of the roses, very beautiful in their colors. I've noted down some swatches that I might use for some winter ideas. And this is some white work, also in machine embroidery. So I'm getting better at that, as you can see. An acrylic picture. In the January, you think that all of the winter colors are very dull and dumb, and those were the lightest and brightest greens that I've ever seen. So beautiful. Also those yellows from those flowers. and they had dried off and gave this very magnificent lacy structure. So, so beautiful. Experiments with scripture and lettering, and also with the mixture of some of these techniques, like watercolor and ink. And here something very, very different, some modern art, and yeah, the combination with thread again, what is there, and a charcoal picture. And sometimes you don't always get the effects that you want from a sketchbook, but that's okay. And that's what a sketchbook is for. You don't have to be perfect. You can search for those simple structures, and you can search for something that people can and will really, really do if they want to. Or you can just go on with your own ideas, which is what I did here, like those thistles, or the cut off green leaves and branches from the gardener. And those, I think, are lily pods, seeds. And this was outside again, a picture with charcoal, very, very cold, and so not very detailed. And this was inside from a picture that I made with the photography handy and everything like that. So I had more shading opportunities. So it's a good thing if you are sketching outside in the winter. Here I had the idea maybe I could try the thinnest lines that I could get into embroidery, and what would be those thinnest lines? How can I design with those thin lines? It's an interesting question, and I found out that I can design just like this with a normal fine liner or ballpoint pen or whatever, without the need to get into very thick structures. And then I can do everything. I can do whole pictures with lines, and I can experiment with silhouettes and wordings and calligraphy, anything. So here I tried something else. I have a feather and used that as a pen, and that was very interesting as an experiment, and tried to get on with my design abilities, because line embroidery is new to me. I think it's everywhere, but it is not so used a practice for me, and I tried to get into style, tried into Art Nouveau again, and then tried to design an alphabet. And then I remembered my leaves, my dried leaves that I had in my closet, and then I photocopied them. And this one I'd like to show you. This is a leaf in stem stitch, line embroidered by hand on cotton on cotton, 2-ply thread. Maybe a good beginner's project. Something like this is a very useful thing if you want to start embroidery. This one would be more difficult. This is gouache, and maybe you could do that in tapestry, or I don't know yet. But let's concentrate on lines again. You've seen this everywhere, and I'm such a different person. I don't know what to do with these one-line drawings. And I like to use shadings, I like to use lines for outlines, but the shading has always got to go in there. But I'm trying, as you see, in my own home, and also with my embroidery, this time on paper. Yes, that's possible too, and hopefully you can see this in the middle. I have decorated this as well. Unfortunately, the ink from the other alphabet bled through the pages, and so I had to start on a new page again and think about shading and line embroidery, which is a whole subject in and of itself, what you can do there and what is working and possible and what is not, and also how many possibilities of shading you actually have in drawing. I tried some flowers again. Those were from a flower shop and totally bored me, so I made something else and colored it. very, very useful to get into a chaotic structure if you get fed up with that. That was a tree in the evening light. It was so magnificent and very beautiful. It has to be gold work, I think. Then a flower that is actually yellow, but I only had pencils with me, and a thistle again in ink. And that is the last image of my sketchbook. And there are a few pages left, but that is okay. I hope you can see I've made about 100 pictures or something, not included those that I had done on the outside of the sketchbook because they were too big. For example, this one that is also belonging to the other thistle. Yeah, so this was my January sketchbook. So that was great fun, and I think a sketchbook is a very good thing. Thanks for watching. Bye.